Just a moment.
But first, a busy night of severe weather, including a tornado warning earlier just south of Lincoln. Chief Meteorologist Luke Doris and meteorologist Kayla Bremer both tracking the storm. Luke joins us now.
Yeah, thank you, Vanessa. It has been very active. Things really got going just a couple hours ago. We saw that storm. First off, I want to point off, although we've had several tornado warnings, we have had no reports of touchdowns with any of these. These have all been Doppler indicated. What that means is our radar sees the rotation. Our radar has the ability to see the possibility of a tornado, but it takes human eyes to really confirm that. And that's just, their technology is not quite there yet. That's why we have to have our storm spotters. We've got one here at the station that's keeping us informed of his other storm spotters, the ground troops that are down watching these storms from the ground, what is actually happening there. So let's take a look at the radar and what all it says right now. First off, the tornado warning that we had earlier in Lancaster County has been allowed to expire. Now a severe thunderstorm warning, still producing hail, still producing some very gusty winds beyond 60 miles per hour. It's centered right now with the worst of it just to the northeast of Hickman. This will stay south of Lincoln, but I'm not done with this storm just yet. You see this little hook right here? That's a telltale sign that we look at. In fact, my computer's still showing signs of rotation with this as well. So we're going to have to monitor this storm closely. At the moment, it's just a severe thunderstorm warning, and it will miss Lincoln. We do have a tornado warning for Saline County. This goes for about another half hour. It's going only over mainly farm country right now. If you're in Friend, Dorchester, Crete, it's going to stay to your south. If you're in Tobias, Western, Swanton, it's going to stay to your north. It's going between Milligan and all the way there into Wilbur. This rotation rolling eastward, and within this too, we've got several severe thunderstorm warnings. Still seeing some strong storms around Geneva. No longer a severe thunderstorm warning in Fillmore County, but Saline County. If you are to the north of that tornado warning, some of those cities I mentioned earlier, you may still be seeing that hail and the gusty winds. We do see a tornado watch. This at one point was a severe thunderstorm watch that went till 5 a.m. Now this has been upgraded to a tornado watch until 5 a.m. That includes the city of Lincoln. We'll be in Seward, Saline counties, York County as well. So we're going to have possibly a long night ahead of us. We're going to keep you ahead of all the storms and dive into more of the details as we get to full weather. That's coming up here in just a little while, guys.
All right. Thank you so much, Luke. Back to our other top story now. Terror again.
Karen Travers, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
All right, I want to take the radar just for a second again. The storm that we were talking about just to our south in Lancaster County, if you're in Hickman or if you're in Bennet, just go ahead and take cover. This is not a tornado warning right now, but I expect it's going to be soon. Still seeing signs of rotation. It's increasing rapidly with the storm, moving to the northeast. So Hickman, Bennet, southeastern and eastern Lancaster County, I want you to just treat this as a tornado warning. Also, if you're going to be near the Eagle area, maybe even Douglas, sometimes these have a tendency to curve to the right just a little bit. So again, still watching the tornado warning that is in Saline County, but I wanted to point out that Hickman storm and how it's really starting to wrap up a little bit. So for now, I'll send you guys back to the news, and we'll cut in as necessary.
All right. Thank you so much for the update, Luke. Talk to you in a little bit. In Washington.
It might be a busy night for LES. We're hearing that rain pounding as we speak. Let's get to Luke.
Yeah, we just broke in for the storm that's in southern Lancaster County, saying maybe it could become a tornado warning. In fact, it just has. If we could we drop this crawl real quick? I'd like to focus on the radar. We get from Hickman to Bennet. This is the storm that we were watching the rotation. Again, it wrapped up quickly. As suspected, it became a Doppler indicated, not confirmed on the ground, but a Doppler indicated tornado. This is going to be going until it looks like about 10:45. This is going to stay south of Lincoln. If you're in Lincoln, you're not under the threat right now of any tornadoes and severe weather actually riding just to our south, but this is going to move to the northeast. It's moving at about 20 miles per hour, so I'll put a track on this for us real quick. Thank you for dropping the crawl back there, Tony. And then Hickman back through Bennet up to the northeast. Let's get that. So Avoca, you're going to want to be on guard as well. So Palmyra, about 35 minutes. Eagle, you're going to want to take precautions as well. And eventually Alvo. So again, going to continue to monitor this storm. Have not heard reports of damage, but take your tornado precautions between Hickman and
location of the person in trouble.
All right, that storm that we've been tracking in southeastern Lancaster County, the tornado warning, now this is confirmed. So just to the northeast of Hickman. What I'm looking at right now in southeastern Lancaster County is right here, just to the east of Hickman. You see this little curl in? This is what we call a hook echo, and that's a sign of rotation. And the storm moving to the east at about, what'd you say, Kayla, about 15, 20 miles an hour?
To the northeast at 10.
10 miles an hour. So Bennet, it's going to be on you. In fact, what we'll do is we'll track this again, a confirmed tornado. Have not heard reports of damage yet, but of course, you know, anytime you're talking about tornadoes, it's not going to be long before you start hearing of those come through. So there we go, 13 miles per hour, Bennet, 26 minutes, kind of a slow-moving cell, Palmyra, and about an hour as well. So we've got this storm. Let's pull this back out again. Lincoln is well to the north of this. This is not going to be bringing tornado warnings in through the city of Lincoln. This is eventually going to make its way eastward into Cass and Otoe counties and make its way outside of my computer's interpretation of what's going on. So right there near Lincoln, do you see?
Luke, I just wanted to let you know we're being told that the sirens are going off in South Lincoln right now.
South Lincoln,
yes.
Okay. You know, that's okay. It depends on, I guess, how far south you're talking about. I want to point out, though, what we're looking at with the rotation here is well south of Lincoln. And we'll take a look. I'm going to give you a behind-the-scenes look, a little peek at why I think this is well to the south, why Lincoln is not under the gun for any tornadic activity. Now, there's Roca. Now you can see the streets pop up. And what we're going to do is put on what we call our velocity data. Now, what this does is it looks at the winds within the storm. And where you see the reds and the greens are kind of brighter and they meet one another, that's where you get that rotation. And you can see that well to the south, not up around Lincoln. This is well to the south, east of Roca, really right there around Hickman, east of Hickman. You can see these two what we call velocity couplets that meet up with one another. That's where we could be seeing rotation. That's a possibility of the point of that tornado just to the east of Hickman. Not be seeing that supposed possibly large amount of debris. Our computer indicating the tornado up into this little notch as well. I think it's a little bit further east of Hickman. If you're in Hickman, it looks like it has gone a little bit further east of you. If you're in Bennet, or let's say kids, if your parents aren't home, what we always like to remind you of is take your tornado precautions. You know, get into your basement. If you don't have a basement, I don't have a basement. If you don't have a basement, get into an interior room, get as many walls between you and the storm as possible, and of course, no windows. You don't want anything like that.
What I'm being told.
Highway 2, you say?
Highway 2.
Okay. Near Bennet?
Because of power lines and other problems.
Let's show you where we've got that. So that's going to be down where we had the storm earlier. We did have reports of houses being destroyed here. Highway 2 would be right through here. And yeah, closing it eastbound and westbound due to the power lines that are down there. Is all that correct, Rod? Yes. Okay. Well, the storm has since moved on from there. It's since moved to the northeast. It's north of Palmyra. The storm has since gone off into Cass and Otoe County. It's looking a little more broad than it once was. There's Highway 34. It's right on top of you. It's southeast of Eagle. It's south of Elmwood. If you're in Alvo, it looks to be missing you. If you're in Weeping Water, it may eventually be heading your way, and Avoca as well. So all right in through here with this inflow notch that we see, this is where the storm is wrapping that air into it. And what that does, when you have circulation within the storm, it pulls that air into it, it spins it around, and you get your tornado to develop. And this right here, this hook echo region, is where we'd be seeing that possible tornado. It's not possible, it's confirmed. This thing's been on the ground. Don't know if it's still on the ground. Reports still coming in with this one. But I do see a fresh severe thunderstorm warning for Lancaster County. We're going to get to that one here in just a second. Before I abandon this for just a second, there it is. Right there, still looking at Highway 34 to the east of Eagle. So that's where our tornado would be. It's not far from you, Weeping Water. I know that you're not under the tornado warning. Maybe your sirens aren't blowing. Just get ready. Just take your precautions. I'm going to get you a estimation on time when it's going to be in your area here, and then we'll talk about what we've got coming through Lancaster County on the southern side. So there it is.
Debris and power lines causing some problems, so potentially dangerous situations for people out on the roads that are just trying to keep everybody safe.
Okay, good information there, Rod. And yeah, you can see this too. This is a 3-hour loop, and we'll take it all the way back to when it was in Hickman, and this thing was all wrapped up. It was a very strong signature on our radar, and you see the track and what he's talking about. We can spot this whole thing as it went from Hickman up through Bennet and then Palmyra, and now eventually off into Cass and Otoe counties east of Eagle right now. All along this region, we're getting reports of damage with it, and sometimes very severe damage, like he talked about, houses gone, possibly around Bennet. So